All right, welcome to a Witchpolice Radio Quick Hits conversation. These are what I like to call little micro interviews, about 10 minutes with a local artist who is either doing something new or a new project or something that's new to me, or just kind of a way to reach out and expand the breadth of artists that I talk about on the podcast. And the guest on this one is someone who's been on the show before, but definitely not in this context. And it's actually been a few years. It came up on my memories, my social media memories, that the time we interviewed you when you're a member of Mmars, that was like 5 years ago now, so that's crazy. But you got a bunch of new stuff. You've been doing a lot since then, so I think let's just kick this off by you introducing yourself and giving a bit of background about what it is you're doing now.
Sure. I'm Mac Vannan. I'm a drummer. I've been playing around since I was 18 at bars and stuff. I was in Mmars. I was in Pout for a while.
Yeah.
I played with House Panther.
You've been around.
Yeah, played with some friends, did some Danger Fuzz, all that stuff. But I just want to come on and talk about kind of like this. I don't know if it's going to be like it's going to be like an ongoing collaborative project with Tuff Patch.
Okay.
And like behind it, what I was hoping to do, I wrote the song that came out, Burned Out, recently. I wrote that right after Mmars kind of fizzled out.
Okay.
And it's a variation of like an old Mmars song that like kind of never came to life. And I switched it up, rearranged it, worked with a couple producer friends on it.
Cool.
Because I just play drums. And I've always wanted to like make my own music. And that's always been really hard when you're just the drummer. You always have to collaborate with someone else or start a band or whatever. And I was stoked they were down to work on it with me. And like I started with his name was Donovan Ostapovich, and we worked through like a demo like 3 years ago.
Oh, cool.
And then recently, since like COVID and all this stuff, I haven't been able to gig or do anything. I'm just making drum covers. I'm like, oh, like, should I tap into these old songs I have and like make my own thing? Because I know like if I start my own thing that's just started with me, it's never gonna like go away unless I want it to quit, you know? So it's kind of gonna be this ongoing collaborative thing. If people like it and it kind of evolves into something bigger than what I imagined, maybe it'll be like a live show touring thing. If not, it'll just be like a fun collaborative thing. I put a couple songs out a year, and that's just kind of like my ongoing project.
That's a good idea though, because I mean, you've been in a lot of bands, you probably will be in a lot of bands, but it's cool to have this kind of through line of just you're always doing this when you have the time to.
Yeah, and I'm stoked about it. And so I started working on this song again, like maybe like 5 months ago with my friend Joe Prue. He's a resident producer at this studio out in Steinbach, and my work has me in Steinbach like 3 days a week.
Oh, nice. That's convenient. Yeah.
So after work, I just go to the studio and then I drive home really late. It's like a 20-hour day for me, but it's worth it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And we worked on it all the way through, and the song I put out was probably a month of just like in kind of working with Joe and kind of in the studio working on stuff.
Cool.
So on it, I'm drumming and singing, and he's kind of filling in the rest.
Okay.
And I want to kind of move into me making more music. So I've been like teaching myself guitar and piano and stuff because I want to make stuff.
Yeah, not just drums.
I don't like wasting time, and I don't see the pandemic as like a waste of time, but it's definitely lost time in terms of like momentum, I guess. And like when it started, I was 24, and when it ends, I'm going to be 26. So that's like a big gap in my mid-20s that I'm missing out on.
Yeah, it's an important time frame, right? Yeah. Well, it's interesting that it was a Mmars song to begin with, because listening to it, I definitely got the Mmars vibe. Not exactly, but it definitely reminded me of that band. And I don't know if this is intentional or not, but the one thing I noticed immediately upon listening to it is that the drums seemed very prominent in the mix in a good way. But it was just like, oh wow, there's drums on this thing, like the capital D drums, right? So was that something you were? I assume as a drummer, you probably encouraged that sort of.
Hell yeah. Yeah, when we were doing the takes, I wanted like a perfect drum take and I wanted it to be good. I probably did, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 run throughs of it. Cause I'm like, nah, I want the drums to be like, I want it to sound like a drummer like made all these tracks. Cause I want like it like drums to be more prominent in the mix.
Yeah.
And be like more of like a focal point in it just because I am a drummer. Not that the other instruments don't matter, but like it's just like that's where I come from. So that's kind of what I guess my ear always leans to is like whenever I listen to music, all I hear is the drums and then everything comes secondary to me.
Right.
How I learn songs and whatever. So yeah, that's funny that you thought
That's the first thing I thought about it too. Is just like, wow, these drums are really prominent. But it's not like in an overpowering way, right? Like they just stand out. It's not like it's just drums and you can barely hear anything else. It's there and it's up front. But yeah, everything else is in there as well. But so is this just going to be singles whenever, or are you hoping to eventually lead up to like an EP or a record or anything once you have more songs recorded?
I want to do like a 5 to 7 song record or EP, whatever. Just put something out like that, and I'll probably just release singles up until like then, and then release it all in its entirety.
Yeah.
But I want to work with a bunch of people. I like working with Joe because we kind of have like the same. He understands like what I want to make out of it. We like a lot of the same music. But I want to collaborate with a lot of other friends. I made lots of friends in the music scene.
Yeah.
And I really just want to collaborate and work with them on some songs, but it's hard right now. I can't really.
No one can, right? Yeah.
Right? So.
But that's a benefit to having a good Rolodex, right? Like, I mean, just having worked with a lot of different bands, you just and then played shows with other bands. I'm sure you have a pretty big collection of names that you could reach out to potentially work on this with you.
Yeah, and I'm stoked about that. And when I put out the song, a few people actually reach out to me and like, oh, is this like a band, or do you want to like work with it? I'm like, yeah, like, I mean, once like, as long as we're both double vaxxed, like,
exactly, yeah.
I'm cool with jamming with whoever, and and like, I've been working on the Tuff Patch alongside a new project I started with an old buddy.
Oh, cool.
So that hasn't really been announced. We have a name and everything. Maybe when we put some stuff out, I can come back and talk about that.
Sure.
Because I'm really excited about that too. And but as for Tuff Patch goes, yeah, I just want to have fun with it. I want to keep putting out songs, I love making music videos.
Yeah. Like, well, even back to the Mmars days, you guys were doing cool stuff with the music videos too, right? So yeah.
Yeah, we did a few on our own. Then we did one with we collaborated with some friends, and even with Danger Fuzz, when he put those videos out, like we recorded and edited those ourselves too.
Yeah.
And I've always just loved doing it, so I'm like, well, I can't really hire a big crew and do a shoot, so I'm just gonna set up a green screen in my basement and.
Well, you got time, right? There's a pandemic going on, so you can you have the time to work on that stuff. Yeah. So if someone wants to hear this the Tuff Patch stuff now, what's the best option to sort of follow what you're doing and check out the current song that's out and anything you're doing in future?
Yeah, well, I have an Instagram. It's at Tuff Patch, TUFF. Bandcamp, Spotify, Apple Music. It's on. I went through DistroKid, I think.
Okay.
So they put you on everything. So I'm sure if you look me up, I'll be in there. You might have to like search a bit because I have 4 monthly listeners. So
nice. We're getting the big numbers. But it's new though, right? It's new. And I guess like, am I wrong in assuming that like the quantity of listeners isn't necessarily your goal here so much as just having an outlet to release this stuff?
It's just for fun. I like putting stuff out, even if it doesn't go anywhere. I just like having it kind of like when I'm old and gray. I just want to have like a bunch of records that I've worked on that I can like show to like people and be like, this is what I did. And like kind of like, I don't know. I just want like something to show for my existence, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I do that with my kids and they're like, this is bad. Why are you showing me this? But I get it for sure. So again, Tuff Patch on Instagram is the best place to sort of keep in touch with what you're up to.
Yeah, and if anyone listening wants to likes the music and wants to collaborate or reach out, like feel free to send me a DM. So like hit my personal Instagram. That's just Mac_is_DUM dumb.
Yeah.
And yeah, hit me up. Down to collaborate with whoever wants to hang out. And yeah, I'm stoked that like for being on the show.
Yeah.
And that like people seem to like the songs. That made me happy. But
yeah, it's a cool song.
yeah, I'm excited to put up more stuff. It's necessarily not going to follow like a specific genre. Probably more on the heavier side because that's just what I gravitate to. But you know, might slip in a few different things that I guess no one's really, if you like know me, no one's really heard from me before. So I'm excited about
Right on.
that too.
Very cool.